Good morning. I'm Rosemary DeTrolio, and you're listening to The Lightwalker's Path. It's a place to develop new insights, find your soul's purpose, hear enlightening conversation, and be inspired. Good morning, and welcome to The Lightwalker's Path on Bold Brave TV. This is going to be a place to nurture your inner light, find your soul's purpose through discussion, inspirational guests, and hopefully I can enlighten you with some things that I've learned along my way. You can call in or you can ask questions via text message. This plays on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other streaming platforms. You can always contact me at info@rosemaryd.com and visit my website at rosemaryd.com. The call-in number, by the way, is 866-451-1451 if you feel that you're brave enough to call and ask a question or give a comment, hopefully a kind one. So I'm back. This is episode number 53, and I thought I would continue to see if I can reach more people and to help inspire you. I know that there's a lot of changes going on in the world. There's a lot of changes energetically, which is another reason why I want to be one of the people that can help shift you and give you some hope in times when things are changing for you. So I called today's show Circles because life is a circle. We are in a time of history now where there's a lot of things happening all at once. There's the positive and the negative, the light and the dark, and the pull of change as we are attempting to level up and bring our frequency to a higher degree. One of the things about learning to bring your frequency up to a higher degree is the fact that it often comes with catalyst, change, disturbance, problems, situations that seem to be in front of you, and you're like, well, what is going on? Why am I going through this? But those things are really brought to light to help you to adjust your karma, to balance your energy, and to bring new learning. Also to strengthen your soul's purpose and to strengthen your soul. And they're always really bothersome, annoying, stick in your side kind of things, because these are the ones that will cause you to stop and reevaluate. So we all go through this. Some of us are born in as helpers and healers. Others are here simply to learn. I think I'm here to do both because I've been challenged a lot in my own life. So I know there's a lot for me to learn personally. But there's also a lot of people that I feel that I can help through some of my own lessons and my own journey. So I hope that you tune in every week at 10 a.m. Eastern Time and, just listen in and see if there's a tidbit of something that resonates with you. And if not, you can always let it go, right? Take what comes in for you and let it go if it doesn't work for you. Okay. So one of the things about circles, and I always think of like circle time when I was teaching kids, right? You're all sitting in a circle. Circles are for sharing. Circles are for your tribe, all right? In life, we all need to find our circle. We need to find our tribe. We need to find people that understand us, can connect with us, and who celebrate us. If someone is not celebrating you, in fact, standing behind you and approaching your joy with happiness as well, they're probably not going to be in your tribe for very long, because those people that are like-minded will celebrate who you are as a person. It's really difficult. One of the things I was going to tell you is, as an adult, and you probably know this yourself, when you're kids can go anywhere, and they could be in a park, and then all of a sudden there's other kids that they're talking to. They can say, hey, how are you? And everything's great. They're playing together. It's a little more difficult when you're an adult. Partly because we are all busy with our lives. We all have jobs. We all have things that we're involved in. And it becomes more challenging to make friends or make new friends. Excuse me. So I want to tell you a situation. Recently I was in Italy, and there was a woman on the trip that was traveling. And because we were in a like-minded situation, excuse me, we had spent time talking together, excuse me, and we had a wonderful time. And we found we had a lot in common. Because we were put together for that time, we were talking and chatting, we made friends. It's really unusual sometimes to feel that comfortable when you meet somebody. Sometimes you might be in a certain situation and someone clicks with you automatically, but it's hard to kind of take that next step to bring them into your tribe of friends. Sometimes you find friends through work. It could be people that are similar as you or doing the same job. So some of my friends have come from my work situation. Others may have come from a workshop I did. Excuse me. Or it comes from someone I met serendipitously. So part of the things about circles is that everyone's equal within the circle. There is no one leader, so to speak. Circles are for sharing. So people that are in circle groups share equally. One of the things that is also true is that sharing equally means sharing time, sharing expression, and sharing conversation. Oftentimes, you might find that there's one person at a balance with another. So you might have a friend that is always, always, always taking over and not letting you have your say. That's not quite in balance either. So what you want is a give and take, because in circles, we all share. Also, our divine guides and our divine angels exist within the circle of your energy field, because your energy field, your aura, is a circle or an orb that you exist inside of. And this beautiful energy that you hold in there is who you are and who your soul is and what your purpose is. So when someone comes into your energy field, into your personal circle, they will either be attracted to this energy or they'll be repelled by it. And you might find this weird thing that happens. So I've been told sometimes, you're too darn happy. I don't, sometimes you annoy me because you're always smiling. And I get that. Okay. Sometimes it's kind of annoying if the other person isn't vibing with the same energy that you are. Does it mean that I should be less happy? No. So you have to be who you are in this circle of who you are in life and who you are in your bigger circle and who you are in your smaller circle. Circles have no sharp edges. Circles are compassionate. So I wanted to bring out the moment to tell you that right now the angel Mary, which is Mother of God, Angel Mary of God, God's mother, her energy is very loving and compassionate. And even if you are not in the same faith, it doesn't matter. This energy of compassion and love is filtering through right now. You might notice there's a lot of priests and a lot of people that are talking about higher mind, that are talking about doing the right thing, about shifting, about being present. You're going to notice there's a pattern of what's coming through. And the reason why it's coming through is there's a gigantic pull between both polarities right now. We have the people that want to fight, the greed, take more, get more, do more, overtake. And we have the people on the other side, which are trying to say compassion, working together, communication, understanding, cooperation. So these two forces are kind of opposed in a way, and one becomes a catalyst for the other. So the more one side pulls, the other side will try to balance. And the same thing goes with deeds in your life. So we have a karmic balancing that always goes on between you and between the powers that be and between people in your circle and outside of your circle. So this karmic balancing is part of how we understand what we're supposed to do and our place in the world. Angel energies are very high vibration energy. Our angels and guides are always with us. And when I say guides, I'm talking about high, sacred, divine guides. We also have loving ancestors in our energy field. They come visit us. That's part of who we are, because truthfully, if the veil has thinned and we're all together, in this big thing called earth and life, right? The high vibration of angels has to lower to meet your vibration, because we are not as high vibing as our angelic forces are. So part of the way that we connect with this beautiful force that helps us is to learn to raise our vibration so that we can be in a place to receive, because it's always a giving and receiving. When we give thanks, when we give gratitude, we also receive. Excuse me. When you are at a lower vibration, you are not open to receive, believe, or retrieve the blessings that are there for you to get. In fact, that low vibration blocks these blessings. So part of my reminder today is that no matter what you go through, say a prayer. Your prayer can be as simple as higher power, God, the universe, angels, the creator of all that is. Please help. Please watch over me. I give you permission to guide me and to help me. I say this prayer a lot because in life we all have things that challenge us. And I want to tell you that no one is having a perfect life, no matter what it looks like to you from the outside. There's always something that you don't know. There's always a hidden pain. There's always a trauma. There's always something you're not quite seeing. And everyone has something, whether it be their own feeling of not feeling good enough, not being loved enough, not being seen, not being heard, not feeling love when you were a child, feeling overpowered by an adult when you were a kid, feeling emotionally stale or empty. These are all very human emotions. And part of the reason why we are here on this earth plane is to heal this in ourselves so that we can bring more light in both to our inner circle and therefore affecting our tribal circle, which are our friends, family, loved ones, and people that come in contact with us, and hopefully the bigger circle of humanity that is there for us. That if at least one person can be a light in a dark room, you can light up a room, right? One candle can light a dark room. So hopefully I'll be a candle flame for you so that you will have courage to be the candle flame for your inner self, your tribe, your people, and those that are in your energy. Okay. Our souls always exist in a karmic pattern of learning and giving and receiving and learning and giving and receiving, and also cause and effect. And cause and effect is that thing that kicks people's butts when they don't learn it. The cause and effect is a very powerful karmic lesson. And it's really scary how quick this can come back and bite you if you are not seeing it. So, cause and effect, all right? Any action has a positive or negative reaction. And like in physics, you throw a ball against a wall and it bounces back. The harder you throw the ball, the harder it smacks you back, right? It's the same thing with a cause and effect. When you make a choice and you select what you're going to do, this will have a direct impact on cause and effect. If it is aligned with higher purpose, if it's aligned with compassion, love, and healing, chances are your karmic debt or your karmic pushback is going to come to you in a positive way. If you have done something that is not aligned with this higher good or higher purpose, the karma that comes back that you need to adjust will not be positive, especially if it affects other people that you've harmed, hurt, or distressed along the way. So I want you to always think about that when you're going through your day, kind of review how your words affect other people, how your actions are being perceived or affecting other people. This is really important to catch those things as they occur, because that's the way you can balance it quickly and adjust it so it doesn't hold on to you, because karma doesn't go away. It sticks to you like glue. And until you're ready to unstick it, you keep getting stuck by it. So be careful with how you walk through life. Be careful of honesty, decisions, integrity, and how you perceive what you do. Welcome back. I'm so glad you're here and you stayed with me. All right, today's show is called Circles and Angels, and I was speaking before break about how we're kind of all interconnected and how we have an inner circle, which is your energy field and your aura, your outer circle, kind of like your tribe, your family, your close tribe, your larger circle, which is people that you know as friends and other people that you may know, and then we have the human circle, which is how we affect humanity overall. And part of the reason why we go through lessons and in this lifetime is when your vibration is able to raise, you are able to help yourself, you're able to help people in your immediate circle, you're able to help friends in the outer circle, and this light can also affect change in the global circle of humanity. Now, yes, we can't control war across the world. However, if you are living in a state of peace, harmony, and compassion, the energy that you're putting out is a ripple effect, just like throwing a rock in a pond. So if you get a lot of people that are at this higher vibration, you can affect change simply by working on your inner growth and yourself to be the best version of you that you can be. And my lovely friend Caleb here, we're having a discussion during the break, and he was reminding me, you can only control you. You know, you can't control other people and how they see things. So that's very wise advice. So angel energy has a very high vibration and frequency. We can tap into this even if you don't have the same faith or understanding of what this energy is. But what you can do is you can call in divine and sacred guides. Okay, divine and sacred angels, divine and sacred guides sets your intention for bringing in this energy that's a higher vibration than our living energy on the here and on the now. So I'm going to show you how to do this. So if you stay with me for a minute or two, I'm just going to guide you through a very quick way to connect with this higher vibration energy. Okay. In the meantime, if you want to text a question, angels, anything, I'll give you some divine guidance after this little activity. So the one thing that I always tell people to do is to kind of center themselves. You could center in many ways. One is just a breath. So you take a deep breath in. You let it go. Take another breath in. Let it go. Imagine that you are rooted. You have a beautiful root from the bottom of both of your feet to the center of the earth. This root keeps you grounded to the energy of where you are right now. Above your head, which is called your crown chakra, you can open to this divine energy of light, but you do so with intention. So the intention and the words are, allow me to connect with this divine and beautiful energy, this divine and sacred energy of angels, God, and my highest sacred and loving guides. When you do this, you are giving permission. When you're sitting in this relaxed connection, you have already sent a message that you are open to guidance. So your next thing would be, please allow me to accept and receive guidance for my highest good and for the highest good of all who are involved in this decision. And then you just wait and see if anything filters through your consciousness or through your body. And right now I am getting a message for for the listeners. And I'm told that a lot of people are losing their hope and their faith right now. So I'm just being guided to tell you that when you feel all is lost, connect with your prayer, connect with God, connect with angels. When you feel that it's lost, know that this is a circle. A circle has no beginning and no end. It's a karmic circle. Everything you go through, God will bring you through. So just sit with that for a moment. And just ask again, ask your angels and highest sacred divine angels and guides and God to just guide your steps, guide your decisions, and guide your life. And that you are open to receive this communication. Sit with that a moment. Take a breath in and out. And then when you're done, see the top, the crown of your head closing. We don't want to leave it open. We want it to be closed just because we don't want to collect all this random information unless it's from our guides and angels. You could see the other chakras being protected with a screen of light. And you can see yourself surrounded with this golden bubble. And know that you have sent a message that you are willing to be guided through your intuition. One of the really strongest ways that we are guided are using the coincidences, God winks, intuition, and moments that continue to occur. It might be a message you keep hearing. It could be a feather, a penny, a bird that flies in that you've never seen. There's many, many ways that we're guided if you just are open to looking for them and seeing them. Okay, what is the purpose of karma? Karma is expansion, it is cause and effect, it is the balancing. So if you look at ancient Egyptian stuff, you'll notice that there is this, I can't remember the name of the guide that weighs the heart. So your heart's either heavy or light, but it puts all your deeds on a balancing scale. And that's a visual representation of the weighing of deeds and the weighing of things we do in life. And yes, I can hear some of you thinking, oh my gosh, it's not me, it's that other person, it's always the other people, it's always somebody did this, somebody did that. Well, yes, that may be true in a lot of situations, that there's other things that happen to us. We're on the receiving end of us. It is not us, it's them. Yes, that might be true. But you have to look at your perception of what you are learning from that situation. What are you learning? What are you seeing? How are you using compassion, love, kindness, and light to understand what's actually happening, both with you, this other person, and the situation? Because all of these things have to do with karma, balancing, and such. We often have a karmic link or connection with other people that are in your field, in your life now. So if you had a really, really strong karmic connection with a soul for the purpose of balancing, those are very, very difficult patterns often, because there's a lesson that you still need to learn, or that other person needs to learn from this connection. And that's probably why it feels so entrenched when you're in the middle of one of these karmic connections with someone. Remember, our souls keep going on, right? We're not just the one shot flash pan in the deal. We have this eternal soul that continues to learn, either on this side of the veil or when you pass over. But learning never completes, and it's never completely done, because it's a circle. All right. Karma, the weighing of deeds. The purpose of karma, weighing of deeds, and balancing of deeds. No one wants to go over to the other side and just figure out when you get there, oh my goodness, there's all this unhealed stuff that I had an opportunity to learn and I didn't. No one wants to go to the other side and see a life review and say, oh my gosh, there's so much garbage or so much hurt or so much distress I caused, either by selfishness, being mean, being greedy, being unaware. There's lots of things that we will see on the other side once your soul crosses over. And I do know this from several people I've spoken to that have crossed over and come back. And the angels also have showed me a lot of this. Like when my dad crossed over, I was able to see some of the things he was going through right when he passed over, and he was at the table of orientation, and I was able to hear certain things. I couldn't hear all of it. I couldn't, but I was able to be aware. Okay, there's a comment coming in. I love that I'm a part of your circle. Thank you, Gina. I'm so blessed. You are the best. Breath is powerful. Yeah, it really, really is, right? And I'm so happy and thankful for you too, Gina. Thank you so much for listening all the time and having my back no matter what, thick and thin, baby. Best friends. Okay, so as we go through the collective field is all this energy, all these life lessons, all this learning from humanity. Now, you may notice if you ever look at the news, read, or, go through history, there's this common thread of war, fighting, greed, wanting more. And after all this time in history, my goodness, we still haven't learned it. I have been, recently I went to Italy, and one of the places I visited was the Colosseum in Rome. And I thought it was fascinating, but it was also such a violent, violent time. The people were violent. And I'm Italian, I love my people, but my goodness, when I was hearing the stories of these people that were, the gladiators were actually slaves, and they were thrown in to fight, and they were fighting against animals, they were fighting against people with weapons, and they had no choice. They were in there because they were slaves. And not to mention, people that were thrown in because their faith, the Christianity, when it came in, a lot of the Christians were thrown in with the lions. So all that is really awful. So when I'm standing there in the Colosseum, something really clear came out to me. I was standing where Caesar would do this and do that, right? Hands up, kill the person, or hands hands down. Oh goodness, I don't know why I'm getting fireworks right now, but that was pretty crazy. Yeah, so hands up or hands down, Caesar would tell the gladiator to kill the other guy or let him live. All right. So obviously, the whole idea of the games was so that when you're looking at all the nonsense going on over there to being entertained by the blood, gory, and greed that was going on, the government, which is the Caesar and the people under him, could do whatever they want behind the scenes. And you were so entertained with this free food and this wonderful death kill show that you're not going to question anything that was going on in the government. And the people with a lot of power, they got the best seats in the front of the show, almost like box seats at a show, right? They got the premium seats right in the front where they could see all the horrible stuff that was going on. And the reason why they were treated super special, because they had the power and the money to change things. I want you to think about that. Like what's happening here that's kind of like the gladiators and the show and Caesar. And then you want to look at what's happening on the forefront of what in the world today. And you're going to notice that while something's going on over here, something's going on over there. And, we miss what we miss. This is Rosemary. This is the Lightwalker's Path, and I really appreciate that you're sticking it out and you're here with me and you're listening for my 53rd podcast today. So we were talking about circles. I was talking about the power of choice. And then I mentioned about Italy and the gladiators and how that was the political look over here while I'm doing something over here kind of moment. So I want you to keep that in mind. I also had the pleasure of going to the Vatican. And what was really, I really, really wanted to see the Sistine Chapel. Okay, so let me just start with that. Excuse me. Because the conclave was going on and they were picking a new pope, they were voting in the Sistine Chapel, so I was not able to see inside the Sistine Chapel. But what was even better was I got to see the setup when they picked a new pope. So I got to see outside of the Sistine Chapel where the police were, where the red window was that the new pope would be waving from. I got to see the hoopla, from the media, just gathering, just waiting. All right. And that was super cool to see. And one of the things I also was able to do was go into the Vatican Museum and see the art of Botticelli, Michelangelo, all these wonderful, famous artists and artwork. I was able to see where the popes would be, where they would live. It's interesting because I also saw, I was also in Italy and I saw where the Pope Francis was actually buried. And I went to the church and there was nobody there because this little tiny church, it was, just kind of in the shuffle of all this other stuff that was going on, waiting for the new Pope. And thank you, Gina. Yes, love and God is powerful. It'll bring us through. And she said, your books about your messages always give me ways to get in contact with my angels. Yeah, thank you. I do have some angel books I'll mention after in a short while that you can look up on Amazon and on my website that may help to shift you. Okay, so while I was in the Pope Leon restaurant in Italy, the new pope was announced on television, and his name, of course, Leon the Lion, which I thought that was kind of cool because I was in the restaurant called The Lion when this was announced. So I was able to see that moment, and it was really exciting. If you ever heard him speak, the new Pope Leon speak, he really talks a lot about doing the right thing, not having greed, taking right action. I was really, really impressed with him, and I never thought I can love a pope like I did the last one. I love the pope, and this man is quite amazing. And since he's in kind of our age group, like he has like an Instagram page, it's super cool. But you can find his messages, and I encourage you to listen, even if you're not Catholic or Christian. It doesn't matter. It's a universal message and a universal truth. There are other amazing people I've listened to. There's some rabbi that he's usually on Instagram or Facebook. Amazing. And it's the same message. It's a universal message. There's a Native American shaman, a Native American medicine man. Same message. Why? Because we're all pulling from this universal field of common universal core values that are for the good of all, not for the good of you if you're a certain religion or me if I'm a certain religion. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with universal truths of of um, of guidance, love, compassion, healing, and acceptance. And that goes for everything. So no matter what your feelings are about law or about this or that, I'm getting these weird things on my Facebook on my page now. Um, it doesn't really matter. It matters to be like if you are accepting someone's soul and their soul journey the way they're supposed to be. So I want you to think about that and be very accepting because you don't know what someone's soul journey is, what it's going to be, or what they're learning. And your judgment will have nothing to do with that. It shouldn't. It shouldn't impact. That's their journey, their stuff, their life. Okay. So I will mention my books now. So I have Divine Messengers, which is my book about angels, Reiki, and my spiritual journey and path. And I've had a lot of good success with a lot of people reading that through the years. The other two are spiritual workbooks. One is called Inspired by Angels, a book from the heart. The angels named that one for me. And that's a workbook where you can read a little passage and then you could respond. And the other one is called Wisdom, Sages, and Angels, which is also a workbook that you can read a little section and then respond. And again, it's not a religious book, so to speak. It really isn't. It's universal. And it is about just guidance things that can help to shift you. And hopefully, you'll find a tidbit of something here and there that can help to guide you. You could also go back and watch any of my podcasts with my fascinating guests or the ones that I've done on Bold Brave TV in the archive. You can see them all there. And hopefully that will give you some clarity, ideas, inspiration, something that you'll say, I like that idea. I think I'm going to try that. So that's really what we do for each other. We have always one person ahead of us, one person over here, and while we're, learning from one, we're drawing from another. So I myself love to listen and read other people's information, even if it doesn't always resonate or if I don't feel it matches who I am or what my mission is. I like to be open-minded to other people's points of view and thoughts because that will really open me up to be able to be a better guide and help so that I don't have that judgment about someone who might be different than me. And I hope that you can do that too. That's a great way also to widen your expertise. Travel is another, and I have to say, I'm still buzzing about my trip because I loved it so much and I had such a great time. I had a couple moments that really, really impacted me. I was able to go down where St. Francis of Assisi was buried, and I will tell you that I was brought to tears down there. It was really quiet, and the air was just infused with this incredibly strong, positive spiritual energy. All I could say is it went through my whole body, and I actually felt like the monks that had deceased were walking with me down there. They also had some live monks, which I thought was beautiful, that they were sitting there just praying. And it just was such a moment. I can't even tell you how it felt being in the presence of that beauty and that piousness. The people that were there were just sitting there and it was so quiet. You can hear a pin drop. I mean, it was just deadly silent. No one was taking pictures. There was no selfies. There was no nonsense going on. It was just pure connection with this beautiful energy, this soul, and this past. The other really powerful thing that I did was I went on a tour called the Three Churches. And this was in Rome. And you start out on the ground level. And as you go down levels, a church is on a church, is on a church, is on a church. And as you're digging down or as you're walking this pathway down, you reach a church that is a pagan church from 1 AD. And just being in each level, you could feel the energy of the past in there. It was really interesting. And so I would tell you that sacred sites hold angelic energy, they hold God energy, and they hold power. That's why I'm really careful too about the places that I bring in to my energy field and my heart. Because I'm a sensitive, I can feel this energy in different places. The other place that really impacted me was Pompeii. I loved seeing how people used to live but it was really a powerful and very moving experience when I went in the building and I'm looking at these artifacts. And in one room, they had this guy, this man, and this woman that was holding a baby and a dog, and they were all covered in ash, and their bones are actually inside. But when they found these poor people that were covered during the volcanic explosion in Naples and Pompeii, they did something with plaster, so they have the shape of the body, and then the bones are inside. I just started crying because their life. I'm gonna start. I'm sorry. Their life changed. Excuse me. Oh, that hit me again. Their life changed in a matter of seconds. And to be in a place that was powerful like that, it really touched me. Oh, goodness. That struck me. Oh, man. The energy was very powerful there. So I would tell you, if you had a chance to see some of these ancient sites, do so. And I do want to see native lands in Arizona, because I think that area would really speak to me as well, because I do love the native culture. And I think that's a beautiful way that they venerated the earth and all the energy and the living spirit in everything. Um, the other thing that I would tell you is all spiritual people do not have a feeling of greed. They really exist in a different, higher frequency vibration, and their vibration would be one of honoring someone's free will, loving and having compassion for all souls, even broken ones, even messed up ones, even those that, have not moved ahead in their life. And this is also a part and a teaching for those of us that are still striving to be the best we can be and to bring more light into our soul and to be helpers and healers for other people. Um, I also want to tell you that there is no ego when you are in the spiritual realm. In other words, there is a lot of ego with many people I've met along the way, but we try not to have any ego, because ego is the constraints of all about me, and it should be the journey. It should be helping people. It should be service to other people in some way that you are able to affect change, whether it just be being a kind person, raising your kids the best you can do, being a loving spouse, friend, or partner to someone. All those things show love and compassion. Another way that you can show love, compassion, and happiness is to be at one with the earth, grow plants, garden, bring a tree in, do things that you're helping the earth as well. Because right now, the earth is really annoyed at us, I think. We have a lot of crazy activities going on in the world. I was told that, like, Vesuvius is due for an eruption at some point. And there's a lot of families that live there, right in the wake of Vesuvius, still to this day. So you, by caring for your inner circle, your immediate circle, you can affect change on the outer circle. By caring for the earth and by not throwing junk and chemicals and garbage on it, you are caring for the earth, and the earth cares for us. We need those bees. We need that food. We need that water. And I think it was either Chief Joseph or I can't remember his name, but one of them talked about the world being a giant web, and that, when you have all the greed in the world and the poison and the water and the earth is poisoned, you will understand how important it is to take care of the earth. And I hope that we are at that point now where people can certainly be more mindful of resources. One of the other things I loved about Italy was that nothing is ever just taken down for no reason. Like here, they'll put up a building, and then a year later they'll knock it down and put another building up with new materials and new junk, right? In Italy, they renovate old places using original materials. Nothing is wasted. It's a very smart way that they're using resources. The other thing is, they told me that Rome is lasagna. So if you dig down, there's always artifacts under the earth. And they really honor their ancestors and their history so much that these are sacred to them. The other thing is there's no junk in their foods. Like if you go in and buy a product in their country and you compare it with ours, their foods don't have the red dyes and the junk that we have. We're following the money here. Where in their country, they're trying to do what's right for the people. And I will say it's such a wise place. And they call us babies. You know, America, we're babies. Our country is young, and theirs is a very ancient culture. So hopefully, learning happens over many centuries and many people. Okay, so spiritual people don't encourage rash action, greed, war. They don't overtake. They don't want more stuff. And you'll notice, like, again, speaking of Rome, they were terrible as far as taking over places. But hopefully, cultures learn over time, and people learn over time, and not every place and every community in Italy was like that. That was the money people were the Romans at the time and the Caesars, and those are like, let's say, our high political people today might be, or our kings of old, right? So we are not going to be better as humans by doing that. We are going to perpetuate an old system that needs to break. Welcome back. This is Rosemary, and this is the Lightwalker's Path on Bold Brave TV. And this is the last little section of the show today. Next week, I have a really interesting guest, by the way. She's going to talk about the power of secrets, and she's a counselor. And I met her at one of my business meetings, and she's quite lovely, and you'll learn a lot from her as well. So she'll be on next week with me. Okay, so we were talking about just the power of how each person can affect change. And I would always say when you feel the most lost, even if you don't have a religion or religious practice, so to speak, start with gratitude. So do your gratitude practice of really feeling gratitude in your heart, not just saying, I like this, I like that. It's more of an emotion of, I'm very thankful for, I have a house, I'm thankful for my yard, whatever you're thankful for is the beginning steps of raising your energetic vibration. Besides that, if you don't know a prayer, just say, angels, God, creator of the universe, be here for me, guide my steps. Please let me make decisions and, walk with me so that I can be the best person I can be, and then I can be a light to other people. I usually start my day with the phrase, let me be the light and blessing to anyone I see today. And that keeps me very mindful of what my mission is each day. And then at night, I go through my day and see if there's anything I could have done or said that I can align better with who I am as a person and what I want my mission to be to help other people. Okay. Again, problems are catalysts for change. So if you come across a very difficult situation, this is a catalyst for change, either for you or the other people that are involved in the situation that you're in. And change is not easy, change is not easy. Counselors, friends, groups, spiritual people, relationships, they all teach us something about who we are and what we need in our life. And I would encourage people to reach out to other people if you're stuck. Join a group, read a book, listen to inspirational music. I have a lot of free things on my website at rosemaryd.com. So rosemaryd.com, you can write that down. And you can go to a page called Grateful Giveaways, and I've posted some free things there. I'll be posting more within the next month of things that you can click and listen to. And sometimes I'll even do like a secret special sale on that page, or a secret code that you can use for one of my workshops that's online, like my self-studies, that you can use. And if you go to the page, you'll see it and you go, oh, I'm going to try that. And then you'll get money off on something. So I'm going to plan to do that also within the next month, because I think people really need some hope and some guidance, especially now. Okay. All right. I wanted to also explain what channeling is in the next couple of minutes. And one of the things that I do is I'm called a channeler. And the way that there's different ways people use that word. I am not a trance channeler where I go into a trance and I completely lose myself. I will not do that, and I don't want to do that. What I do is I say a prayer. I ask God to send me my high sacred angels and guides to step in. Then I ground myself, I surround myself with prayer and light. I ask a question. and then I write the answer. So channeling, I've done this since 1993. I teach it to people as well. If you are a New Jersey resident, I do have an in-person or online channeling course with connecting with your angels coming up on June the 17th at 6 p.m. And if you're in Eastern time, and you want to do a Zoom, I could probably fit a couple people on Zoom. And if I have people in person, I'm going to do both, but I just don't know what's going to happen. So I just want to let you know you can look that up on rosemaryd.com, info@rosemaryd.com if you have questions. Please stay with me next week as well at 10 a.m. We'll all be live. And this has been a broadcast on the Lightwalker's Path, and this is Bold Brave TV. If you'd like to learn more, workshops, sessions, books, and courses, again, rosemaryd.com, and I would love to hear from you. Have a blessed and beautiful day, and keep your faith. Love you. Take care. See you next Tuesday. Bye. I'm your host, Rosemary DeTrolio, and you've been watching and listening to The Lightwalker's Path. Learn about my workshops, sessions, courses, and more at info@rosemaryd.com. My website, rosemaryd.com, Hands of Light by Rosemary. Have a blessed and beautiful day.